Everyone who has an existing mortgage should be checking now to see whether you can save money. However, to understand how much you can save on your mortgage, you first of all need to prepare a few details. Here's what I'd gather together. Step 1, benchmark the cheapest possible mortgage that's available for you in your circumstances. And there are a number of comparison sites that would do this, but what I suggest is you make sure you're using one that includes direct-only deals, not just the deals available to mortgage brokers. Examples of that include my own mortgage comparison on moneysavingexpert.com and Totally Money's. Don't forget the fees. Remortgaging fees can be huge these days, thousands of pounds. Factor in the cost over your deal term. For example, you're getting a 2-year fixed mortgage and your fees are £2,400. Well, that equates, if you divide 2,400 by 24 months, to an additional £100 a month. If you factor it in that way, you'll get the true cost of the fees. And that's because what lenders have effectively done here is to jemmy the best buy tables, to put them at the top. They've reduced the interest rates, but put their profit far more into the fees. Affordability checks. As it sounds, it'll actually be looked at whether you can afford the mortgage you're looking to get. They may look at old bank statements to see how much room you've got. So before you remortgage, if that may be a problem, it's worth going frugal. Now you may think this is slightly perverse because what we're talking about today is remortgaging, not moving home, not borrowing any more, not getting new debt. The affordability checks apply for remortgaging too. The only lender who doesn't have to look at affordability when you're remortgaging is your current lender, but of course they have a vested interest. Why should they make it cheaper for you? So there's no competition. How's your credit score? Your ability and creditworthiness these days plays a much bigger impact on whether you're going to be accepted for a mortgage. If possible, you want to start managing that a year in advance. Never miss a repayment on anything. Understand that every application you make goes on your file, even if it's just for a credit card or perhaps even for gas and electricity or mobile phone, because some of those can be reported onto your credit file. And that can have a slight negative effect. So in the few months before you get a mortgage, I wouldn't apply for anything at all unless it's absolutely necessary to keep it clean. And there's lots of other tricks too. Put a landline, not a mobile phone. Make sure you're consistent about whatever phone number you've put down and what your job title is. So if you're a PA or a secretary, choose one term and stick with it, because inconsistencies can trigger fraud scoring, which you won't be told about but could knock you out anyway. Should you go for a fix or should you go for a tracker or discount mortgage? Well, look, the truth is there's no right answer to this. But a fix means your rate won't move. Therefore, you have a security of knowing exactly what you'll pay and you can budget for it, and to know that for that set length of time, there won't be any bill shock. What I would tend to say is the closer you are to your brink of being able to afford to repay your mortgage, the more you should hedge towards going for a fix and for fixing for a longer time. I can't tell you what looking back in 5 years would have been the best deal, and you can't make a decision based on that either. So what you need to do is primarily concentrate on your own personal circumstances. Consider using a mortgage broker. One of the advantages they have is they understand the different affordability and credit scoring criteria that lenders want. So they're best able to match you up to a mortgage you're going to be accepted to. If that's a problem for you, a mortgage broker, or a good one at least, will be a powerful weapon. But they aren't without their problems. The nature of regulation means that they don't have to tell you about every mortgage on the market. If lenders are offering direct-only mortgages, as Tesco, Yorkshire Building Society and HSBC often do, although HSBC works with a couple of brokers, but not most of them, then they don't have to talk to you about them. That's why I started by saying use a comparison site that does include direct-only deals. If one of those direct-only deals is looking cheap, well, you can talk to your mortgage broker about it. And in fact, we have to look at the cost of mortgage brokers. You've got models like London and Country Mortgages who are on the phone and are fees free. They just get the commission from the lender. Other providers, and you can find a local one near you via vouched4 or unbiased.co.uk, will charge you a fee. Charcoal and Which both charge a fee of hundreds of pounds, but then they often promise they will look at the direct-only deals too. So you actually have to make a choice in your mortgage broker. In general, I tend to think of it, if you roughly know what you're doing, and you've got a mortgage before, you may do, you might want to hedge for a cheaper mortgage broker and do the extra checks yourself. If this is all for you, then I'd probably pay a mortgage broker who can make sure that they're going to check every single deal across the market.